Astrid,
Okay.
we all know about Hatikva. It's the national anthem of Israel, and it's a song for all Jewish people. But it was not like that all the time, and it was not composed for that. What can you tell us about your history with the Hatikva?
Well, it's hard to tell in few minutes because it seems like in this song, in this very short song, 1 minute and a half of music and 8 lines, maybe there is a symbol of what does it mean to be a Jew. Because symbolically enough, the identity of the song emerges from the diaspora and from the destiny of the Jewish people. The words are all from biblical sources and are quotations from the Bible, especially the Ezekiel vision of the dry bones. And then the poet himself is a typical Jew, which means that he was a Zionist and was born in Ukraine, but as a good Zionist, he died in New York and spent only 5 years in Israel. And then the melody was grabbed from all over, half from a Sephardic prayer from 1400, half from a Romanian tune from 1800. I was sure it's stolen from Smetana symphonic poem Hatikva from 1878, and strangely enough, it was written in the same year. Smetana and our Hatikva. But what is more interesting is not only how Hatikva was born, but only what came out of it. The way that it has become a part of our life. That there is a Hatikva performance in every major event. And there are so many corrections over the time for the world. Every word is corrected, and then the music is corrected, and there are million versions of Hatikva. And after 8 years of study, I can tell you where somebody was born, just by the way he sings Hatikva.
It's curious that in the Hatikva, it has been part of a romantic song of Romania. It has been part of Mozart. It has been part of many of the national anthem, or it was conceived like the national anthem of Czechoslovakia. All of that, it's curious. And then it became the national anthem of Israel. What can you say us about this curious thing that were mixed together to give us our hope for Israel?
Listen, it's the Jewish faith. What is the Jew if not a mixed destiny of running away from few traditions and defending his own and one and only tradition and becoming something else all the time? It's not just a melody. What's good about an anthem is a living melody. It changes all the time. It changes from one performance to the other. It sounds different today with the Tarbut kids, then it will sound tomorrow with the KKL representative, and when I do it in France, or when I did it in Germany, you should have heard it. It's alive again every time, and that's the greatness of it.
Why do you believe we don't know all the history behind the Hatikva? We know the Hatikva, but we don't know all the history. And what has been the impression of many people that just discovered that the Hatikva has a long history, like the Jewish people?
Well, the strongest part why I made this into a show and not, I could have stayed with the book, you know. I wrote it.
Show us the book because it's important. People know there is a book with all the history.
I wrote it it was commissioned by the government of Israel. I wrote it for Israel's 60th birthday, and it has become a must in the matriculation exams. Part of it, they have to know it. They have to know it by heart, 40 pages out of the 200. And there are 2 CDs of 3 hours of music, just of all the sources, classical and prayers and chazans and cantors and whoever you want. But when I did a presentation of this for the Minister of Education and for Shimon Peres, the President of the country, after I finished the presentation, they stood up. Every time I finish it, I never finish it. I make people sing it. As if I want to tell them, listen, I'm not telling you a story. You are the story. You are part of the story.
Sure.
So I saw them both, Peres and it was the Sarah Chinuch, the Minister of Education, then it was Gidon Saar. They were crying like children. They were weeping.
I think like everybody, when we hear the national anthem, I think it's not just the national anthem of Israel. It's from all Jewish people. It becomes the hope for all Jewish people.
Yeah, but this is too general. A person has to feel that this is his story. You know, in the Haggadah of Pesach, there is a wonderful phrase that says, in every, בכל דור ודור, חייב אדם לראות את עצמו כאילו הוא יצא ממצרים.
Okay.
In every generation, everybody has to see, each person has to see himself as if he himself was expelled and brought from Jerusalem. Same thing with Hatikva. The power of making a show out of it is because that's the only way to personalize it. What does it mean, the song of the Jewish people? The Jewish people is a scattered people. And even the Israeli people listen to them. To this day they are arguing about this anthem. There is not one opinion. To take one Jew.
Wherever there is a Jew, you have 10 opinions.
10 opinions. But at least when I do this, I feel that we are together. That we are together because we have been in the same tragedies together, in the same stations together, and we are one destiny. Maybe that's our destiny, to be scattered, to be divided, to be my half and half theory, yes? But that's already an identification of a soul, of the Jewish soul yearning for a soil.
You said two things very important. One, it came from a tragedy also. It came from the Holocaust, it's another tragedy, and it's a look for our hope in the future of the Jewish people and our soul. And it's incredible that one of the compositions of the Hatikva, the most important and the, let's say, official one, it was composed for some Nazi criminal.
Nazi collaborate. It wasn't composed. It was orchestrated.
All right.
It didn't, you know, when you sing it, it didn't touch the melody. He just dressed it up beautifully. But why do I include this story? Because I think that this final story is the most, of all the stories, is the wisest of them all. Because it shows you that there is not one step of Israel that doesn't have a trace of the Holocaust. It's there. Even if you think, now I'm an Israeli, a new generation, I am a Sabra, I was born there, all this is a past. It's not a past. It's after you. It becomes a part of, you will see traces of it, that's one thing. And the other thing is that it's part of Jewish wisdom. The value of forgiveness. You have to know to forgive. You shouldn't forget, but you should know to forgive. I think this is extremely wise. And that person came for it. We didn't know it at the time. Now we know more. And I think there is something to be learned from it about the Jewish spirit, about the good side of it. Don't forget, do forgive.
What is the lesson you give to everybody, or you think you left everybody? You started this like a will of your father. The last song he heard in your concert, and it put a tear on his eye. Yes. What after so many years working with this, something that you believe it was going to be just months of work, it became a part of your life, the second part of your life, as you said. What does this leave you, and what do you want to leave with this to every Jew and every Israeli?
Well, to say it simply, it makes me very proud of my people. I don't think there is a people like this in the entire world. Just this incredible story, it can only be Jewish. And living in Israel with all the debates on everything, sometimes you forget the most important thing. What a great people we are. And we have a lot to be proud of. And this I want to give to my audience, always. They come out and they are proud. It's not another cynical post-Zionist lecture. It's a new Zionist lecture with a new pride.
You know, just to finish, you are here because this is an event, a big event about the Keren Kayemet Israel in Mexico.
Yes.
Nice for them to bring you. It was a pleasure. And you finish your speech saying that it's the anthem that we sing also in sports and in football. You know that in some days they will be playing Mexico against Israel. And we will have the opportunity to hear these value anthems for us together sing it in this event.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.